Alright, boys and girls, this is Benjamin Bok Choi. This week, I hired a dominatrix, and Mistress LeBeau asked me to clean the floor with my tongue, and since I didn't clean it properly with my tongue, she gave me choices for punishment. So A, she could either stomp my balls with her high heels, or B, I could play F123, and as much as I begged for her to stomp on my balls with the high heels, she made me play F1 instead. So here we are in some ranked races today. We are still at the Netherlands, Austria, and Singapore week, and we are at Netherlands today. So we qualified P2 here, and I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen here because the qualifying times were pretty tight. So 5 red lights. P1 doesn't get off the grid, and P4 looks really quick. He's right in our rear view mirror, but as you can see right now, somebody just dive bombs right down the inside and wipes out the entire field pretty much. So pretty much right after turn 2 there, we are already ahead of the group. And that was pretty much it, since the only people that were really going to be a challenge were in the top 4. And everybody in the top 4 got wiped out, or in the case of P1, just did not get off the grid. So here we are, coming into Sector 2, and we were already 2 seconds ahead of everybody else, and that was pretty much it. So at the end of the race here, we are 33 seconds ahead. Now, I felt bad here because Chi-Town 6 Paths was, I believe, the guy in P4, or one of the guys. Yeah, P3 and P4 were 2 of the quicker guys, and the guy in P2 right now is the one that dive bombed everybody and wiped everyone out. So I do feel bad for the guys in P3 and P4, but luckily for us, this week was a shit show with the divisions being reset and everybody being sent back down to bronze. The racing quality this week was just unbelievably bad if you saw the previous episode to this. So it's gonna continue. Even though this was a good race, our good luck did not last very long. So we ended up winning here with a 37-second gap, and now we are about to head into Singapore for a wet race. So we're just using the time trial setup here, 50-50 wings. We did manage to qualify on pole. We tied with pole position with the driver in P2, same exact time. It was pretty unbelievable, but I don't know how we managed to get out in front. I don't know if maybe my connection was a little bit faster and I said it before he did, but somehow we managed to get P1. So 5 red lights off the start here. So here we go, 5 red lights, and initially not a bad start. We got a moron who jumps the start. New God Flow 914. Pay attention to that name because this moron will strike again. So we got a guy on the inside, have to go out a little bit wide. He just doesn't give us any room, pushes us out even more. Another guy down our inside right now just drives into us, and then a whole bunch of other cars drive into the back of us and just knock out our front wing. So there you go, Singapore. And on lap number 6, after we stopped for a new front wing and new tires, we catch up to these guys, and chef's kiss. Look at those racing lines. Amazing driving from these guys in ranked racing. So, ranked lobby. So we catch up to this idiot again, and we manage to stick onto his gearbox. He looks like he doesn't even know what he's doing. Probably has all the assists on still, traction control, ABS and stuff. Driving on a controller. We go down the inside, he squeezes us a bit, and then he goes deep, cuts the corner, goes out wide. What do you expect from these idiots? So yeah, we have to try again. We get right on his gearbox because he doesn't know how to take any corners for some reason. And then coming into this left-hand turn here, we get right on his gearbox once again. And what do you expect from somebody who doesn't know how to drive? That's right, a brake check. So this moron brake checks us, destroys our front wing, and we end up crashing out a little bit later on. So I decided to just spectate him a little bit to see what he could do, and it really wasn't much. There's only 8 drivers left. He's only ahead of 1 guy, and that was pretty much it. He got lapped by the leader, and I don't really expect any less from somebody like this who just doesn't even know how to play a game. Stick to Roblox, buddy. You are on the Xbox anyway, so download an F1 mod for Roblox or something and stay out of F123. Enough of this race. So after that race at Singapore, we are at Austria. First time we actually raced at Austria this week, I believe. And I generally hate this track, but like I said, after the mess that is Singapore, I was kind of looking forward to racing at Austria. So we only managed P6 here, kind of locked up going into turn 2 or turn 3. I don't know which one it is after the long DRS straight. We locked up there and lost a bit of time, so we only managed to qualify P6. But again, the qualifying times were actually pretty close here. I think we were only a tenth off of the two guys ahead of us here. We got a pretty decent start, but really nowhere to go there because the guy ahead of us kind of bogs down a little bit. We got guys on the inside, guys on the outside, guys behind us there, and we get driven into. It was just kind of a mess. So we make it through the first corner there without any damage, and we are now in P6. And we are looking to make some more moves here. So a lot of people locking up. You can see a bunch of carbon fiber flying through the corner there. Got some contact in front of us. We turn on the battery to try and see if we can make this move. But the two guys ahead of us are going in wheel to wheel, and we have to slam on the brakes to not drive into them. So I know we're going to gain some positions here because there was a bunch of carbon fiber in the last few corners. So we're just going to play it a little patient now. Looks like the guys behind don't have too much pace, and they're only about 6-7 tenths behind, but it looks like they're not super quick, and they're battling for some reason on the first lap, and they're wheel banging as well. So we're going to see here who goes into the pit lane and if anybody actually does. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Okay, so nobody into the pit lane actually, even though there seemed to be some carbon fiber flying off in the first few corners. M. Bartos here, I don't know what he's doing or where he's going, so he gets a pretty poor exit. We turn on the overtake, and one of the benefits of not using much overtake on lap number 1 is now we have a bunch to use on the next lap while everybody else is probably low. So behind us there is a cavalry of cars. Look at this, 6 of them going into the corner at the same time, and luckily for us we missed out on that. We get stuck behind Shrek Dark 30 here for a few laps, and we managed to catch up to him at the start of lap number 3. Right now DRS is enabled. He doesn't get a good exit at turn 1. We got a good exit with DRS and overtake, and we managed to fly right by him here. So I thought he was going to try and fight it for a second, but he thought better of it and played the smart game and just tucked in behind. So now we are up to P5. Up ahead of us is Alexei Mirskoy, and we managed to catch up to him not too long after. He is on the soft compound tires. We've been right on his gearbox for the last lap and a half or so. So he jumps into the pit lane. A bit early, I think, to be jumping into the pit lane on soft tires, but he must have just been feeling the pressure and didn't want to deal with it. So he goes in. We move up to P4 right now, and as we come around, we actually made up some time on the leaders, but we come around turn 1 right here, and we make a mistake. Just got on throttle a little bit too early. We get overtaken by the driver behind us. He's about to come on through right now, so we lose 1 position due to that mistake, and I think that mistake cost us quite a bit. You'll see later on in the race. So we've only dropped 1 position, but we've lost quite a bit of time to the leaders. I'd say about 6.5 seconds to the leaders, because we were about 3 seconds behind them. So after we do our pit stop, we come back out. This lap number 11 right now. We are behind King People, or Peepoy. I'm not sure what it is. And he's on the hard tires, and we are on the softs. And luckily for us, he just swings out to the left, doesn't make it too difficult for us. Thank you, King Peepoy. And we managed to take the decision there. So back up to P6 right now with Alexei Mirskoy ahead of us again. This was the guy that was on the soft tires and pit on like lap number 5. So he's looking to get ahead of this Bartos guy ahead of him. And they're bobbing and weaving a little bit, which allowed King People to stick close to us. And I think we would have been able to pull away had they not been fighting so hard. But Alexei decides to do like a half-hearted dive into turn 1 here, and he flips around right in front of us. King People hits us from behind. Not his fault there. There was a car right in front of us, and it hadn't ghosted out just quite yet, so I had to sit on the brakes a little bit longer. So I hope that P6 didn't get too much of wing damage there. So we managed to sit behind this Bartos guy quite a bit, and as you can see from his movements, he's on the controller. And as we come around this right hand corner right now, we're about to get DRS. He's fighting it with the battery. I don't know why. We managed to stick right behind him on the last lap. He's on the right hand side right now. He's in the middle of the road. I'm about to go on the left hand side, and he just kind of knocks us off the track there. I'll have a replay for you at the end. You can kind of decide what happened, but it did not end well for us. We get wing damage. We have to pit once again, and we only managed to finish P7. I thought I had the right to be there. I was well alongside him. We were almost front wheel to front wheel, and he just swings out to the left and knocks us both off the track. So he loses out, I lose out as well. He finishes P6, I finished P7. I don't know. I think he could have given us more space there. There was a ton of space when we were side by side, and I'm not sure. He just tried to take the corner like he normally would, even though we were sitting there, and we both lose out. So I'm going to throw the replay up for you right now just so you can kind of see. We'll throw it up a few times. So he starts on the right, kind of just over back into the middle, and then right as we come alongside him, he kind of just starts drifting over to the left a little bit more again. I don't know. Probably didn't see me. I'd say I would probably label this a racing incident, but you guys can judge for yourself. Anyway, we both lose out, so who cares? But I think it could have been avoided if he was checking his mirrors. We were well alongside. But anyway, P7, we did score some points, so that's always nice. Unlike Singapore, where we lost out on a whole bunch of points because that moron brake checked us. So, final race of the episode here. We are back at Austria, and after that last race, I really didn't want to do another race here, but I only had time for one more race before the evening was over, so I didn't want to quit back out and start over again. So we only managed to qualify P3 here. Although we were in first in qualifying until the last two corners. I'll let you decide on your own what happened there. And yeah, we're on the left-hand side. I like starting on the left-hand side. I hate being on the inside of turn 1. So P1 doesn't get a great start. P2 gets out ahead, and we end up getting hit again from people behind, just not braking or whatever. So pole position has gotten back out to P1. They're fighting again, P1, P2. This other guy, Koitron, is just cutting corners and starting to battle with the leaders now. And the pole sitter ended up having to go out wide into turn 2. So there's 3 cars ahead of us right now, and they're already wheel banging and whatever. So I decided I'm not even gonna use battery anymore at this point. We're well out ahead of the cars behind us. I'm just gonna sit back and let these guys do their thing. And as we come into this left-hand turn right now, driver that started P2 ends up getting spun out, and we only have 2 guys ahead of us right now. So pole sitter in P2 and Koitron in P1 right now. And I was like, well, judging by what they were doing on this first lap, again, I'm just going to sit back. As you can see, we still have 95% battery, 96% battery, and we're not using any of it. We're going to let these guys just kind of continue on and keep fighting and see what happens here. So we're still sticking onto their gearbox pretty easily here. They are about a second ahead of us right now, but like I said, if they're going to continue to fight through every corner, we do use a little bit on this long straight just because it's so long. And pole sitter tries to take a look on the inside, but not really close enough here. And look at this, we're already back under 1 second again, just from letting them fight and not doing anything. So I was like, I wonder if he's going to try and just get out ahead of him. He dives down the inside there, sends it. He kind of makes it stick. Yeah, kind of makes it stick. He's still out ahead, and as they go into this left-hand corner here, I don't really know how he lost the position. But he does. He's back down into P2 right now, and now both of them are under a second ahead of us. So looking good for us. P4 is 7.5 seconds behind, so we don't have any threats coming from behind. Nicholas in P5 has boxed for a new wing, I assume, and is on the soft tires, and he's 28 seconds back. So the pit lane's not super long here. So I think we are still good. For some reason, Koitron seems to give up the position there. Carbon fiber comes flying out. Not really sure who it belonged to. I think it belongs to Koitron. And so now we are looking for him to pit at the end of this lap as well. But he's actually still able to stay pretty close to the driver in P1, even with wing damage. At this point, I wasn't sure who it was. I thought it was Koitron, but judging from the way he's still able to stay close enough to the driver in P1, I wasn't quite sure if it was his car or not. But he is going out wide here on the exit of this corner, so I figured it was him. And if we do get close to him, I'm going to have to watch out because he's going to be braking a little bit early. Once again, going out a little bit wide. So at this point now, I know it's most likely him. He's losing some time to the driver ahead. and now he is taking some corners not so well. So he's sitting in the middle of the road, looks like he's about to come into the pits. I don't want to take this corner too fast and slam into the back of him. Luckily for us, he does go into box, and we are released to now go and chase after the leader. So we also get a little bit of DRS from Koitron, and we are able to catch up to him. So at this point, we are 1.5 seconds behind on lap 4, and we were making up some time. Coming into this left-hand corner right now, he spins out, so we get the lead pretty easily there. And I'm just looking at the times to see what our gap is going to be once he does start to get up and going again, and it is about 4.5 seconds. So since he wasn't really pulling away from us and we were actually closing the gap on him, I figured we had a pretty decent chance. So Nicholas in P5 has made up 3 seconds since pitting, and he is on the softs right now, but he got caught up. There was a bit of threat of rain, and who was it? The pole sitter, I think, went a little bit long to see if the rain was going to show up, but it never ended up showing up, and then he just, I think, went into the pits and quit out of the game. So luckily for us, patience paid off. We managed to avoid any contact. This was like only the second race all week out of like 8 or 9 races where we didn't end up getting destroyed or losing our front wing or whatever. So I'm happy about that, and we managed to win the race here, 13 seconds ahead of P2. And I do feel bad for the pole sitter and the guy, Nicholas, who were ahead and ended up getting damage from Koitron. So I wasn't sure if Koitron was driving a bit dirty, but we'll see here at the end of the race. We'll go ahead and watch the replay, and you'll see that, yeah, he was a little bit dirty from what we could see on the first 2 laps, what he was doing. And then here at the end of the race, yeah, probably not the cleanest driver. And it kind of sucks because everybody's back in bronze, so we're all stuck with the dirty drivers again. And hopefully next week when we get promoted, these morons won't be in here anymore, and we can just kind of race cleanly with some better drivers. So actually, you know what? I don't really know. I don't know if that's on Koitron. I think maybe it might have been Nicholas there, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah, just some dirty driving all around, I suppose. But anyway, that's it for this week, guys. We managed to get promoted to Silver 1, or at least currently we're sitting at promotion to Silver 1. So if you guys enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Stay tuned for more. Remember to eat bok choy, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.